The Ad Hoc Committee set up to investigate allegations of threats to national security are meeting to get a progress report to prepare for the public hearings. The committee was established following allegations by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner, that's Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, of serious corruption in the criminal justice system. Let's cross live now to those proceedings.
Mr. Bikitsele. And then there was an issue that arose about alternate members who either attend or don't attend the meetings of the committee. And then just a report on the follow-up that we made with the JSCI. With regards to General Mkhwanazi, the update is that we sent him a letter again requesting that he appears before the committee on the 6th of September. He responded to say that he's still not available due to commitments with the Nhlanhla Commission. He indicated that he is busy with consultations that will lead to him taking a statement, and those consultations will conclude on the 12th of September. And then on the 15th and 16th of September, I will be preparing for the hearing with the evidence leaders. And his testimony at the commission will start on the 17th. And it is anticipated that it will last for 5 days. With regard to General Masemola, we can report that he consulted with the evidence leaders on the 5th of September. And then a further consultation is scheduled for tomorrow. Minister Mkhwanazi will be with the evidence leaders on Friday for consultation. With regard to General Sibia, his consultation is scheduled for the 15th of September. But he has since written to us to request that the consultation with the evidence leaders should be held virtually instead of being physical in Parliament. I think that is a matter that the legal team will address with him. The next one is Minister Kachalia. As Advocate RNC indicated, they consulted with him today, and as he said, they are still going to talk to him. DM Matale, his consultation was on the 8th of September, and I believe that has been concluded. The same applies to DM Mushielo. With regard to Mr. Tsele, we sent a request to appear on the 8th of September. He has not yet responded. The due date is today. So maybe if we get any response today, we can update members, even if it is via the WhatsApp group. I think with regards to the witnesses, that's all that we can report. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I think the other part is that the chair of the return to the ad hoc Mkhwanazi be allowed to conclude the work with them. I think it's just to reinforce the responses that we have received and the engagement that have happened so far. Let me check with the senior counsel if he may want to make any addition on the report that has been given.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, honourable members. Yeah, I don't have other than to confirm that except for Becky Kelly, we haven't confirmed a date for a meeting to discuss a statement, get a statement. But we have had positive interactions with the people who's on the list identified by the committee, and as reported. Today we saw Acting Minister Kachalia. Tomorrow we'll conclude with General Mulumela, and on Friday we're meeting with Minister Mkhwanazi, and we've met the two deputy ministers. Yeah, and as far as General Mkhwanazi is concerned. We have some concerns about the arrangements, Chair, because we've now been told that we as evidence leaders will get a copy of his statement to the Commission only on the morning of 17 September, that is just before he starts giving his evidence to the Commission and to the public and the media. That means that we in terms of that arrangement, we can't share it with the committee. Also because the statement belongs to the Commission. It was obtained by the Commission evidence leaders and not by us. It will then mean that although we'll have some insight into what he told or what he will be telling the Commission and the public and the media, we will have to wait until he concludes his evidence, which is likely to be on the 22nd of September. In turn, that is going to mean that we will only be able to engage with him on behalf of this committee, the Honourable Committee, after the 22nd of September. We have to prepare our statement. Obviously, we'll be assisted by the fact that there'll be ground that the Commission has already covered, which we don't have to cover. But we have to interview him with a view to our terms of reference and not the Commission's terms of reference. So that might take another few days. We will then have to make the statement available to honourable members, to the committee, to prepare before he's heard. And that is likely to take us into the first week of October. And you know, we find that is problematic for us. We have tried to make various suggestions about how we could overcome this, and we've had engagements with the evidence leaders, but the chairperson of the Commission has written to you, and you know, they've said he's not available right up until the 22nd. We were hoping that perhaps after hours or over the weekend, we may be able to consult with him and to prepare our own statement. That's not possible. So I think it's important for us and for the committee to discuss what are our options. If the terms of reference strictly interpreted, strictly applied, means that we must start with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, then it means a start in early October, to be realistic. We've been interviewing witnesses. A number of these witnesses' statements will be ready during the course of next week. We feel that we're ready to start earlier definitely by the 22nd of September. But this will require the committee to revisit the terms of reference and indicate a more flexible approach, because we have to accept, I think the committee and I will accept today, that we cannot start with Mkhwanazi until at least towards the end of September, beginning of October. We are of the view that we should perhaps start earlier with other witnesses. We, in our engagements thus far, consulting with them, taking statements, that there's a lot of information which are relevant to the terms of reference, which speaks to the terms of reference, and at the conclusion of which will put this committee in a position to give effect to its mandate and report to Parliament. We are different from the Commission. The Commission may or may not finish their work by the end of the year. The Commission must then still report to the President. He is obviously not obliged to act on the report. In the meantime, Parliament, in terms of its own, in terms of the separation of powers, has its own work to do, its own oversight role to play, holding the executive accountable, that there is sufficient evidence thus far from what we've heard to give effect to its terms of reference. We've earlier mentioned the issue of an expert. We could also start with, if the committee is minded to make provision for that, we could start with the expert on the 22nd of December. That evidence was likely to take, we don't think, longer than a day. But we could follow that up with calling General Masemola, the current minister, the minister who's on special leave, the previous minister, Minister Kele, the deputy ministers. So those are the options. The one is, and the option one, which is starting with General Mkhwanazi only late September, early October, is that we may again run into problems and sort of play follow the leader after the commission, because we may again be told at that point, no, you can't call this witness or that witness because we are busy with that witness. That witness is going to be called by us next. So we've got to wait. In my own conversations with certainly one of the evidence leaders, and obviously it's not binding on the commission, that evidence leader didn't seem to have any problems with us making a start by calling one of the other persons, witnesses, who they most likely are also going to call in future or after Mkhwanazi gives his evidence. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Senior Counsel. Members, that is the report. We have worked overnight with the Senior Counsel, thinking about many options that we had before us, if it was going to be possible to have General Mkhwanazi over a weekend. I remember the last time I was even suggesting if it's possible that they could do a telephonic consultations, like General Sibia was suggesting that they could do consultations telephonically with him, or maybe even consultations at night after he shall have concluded his daily routine at the commission. We did not seem to be succeeding. It's unfortunate that General Mkhwanazi has to be torn between the commission and us. And we were working within the framework of the terms of reference. And that is why now the senior counsel is presenting other dimensions. So what is presenting, it means the committee, if it feels that time is running out, we can't wait for the 22nd. It means we will have to change the terms of reference and agree that we can take any of the witnesses that are available. But I'm mindful that the committee stressed its decision in the last meeting that General Mkhwanazi is our first witness. So we will then have to wait until he is available. And I would also like to persuade the committee members to have the understanding that the institutional arrangement that we have between the Ad Hoc Committee and the Commission may pose difficulties as we move forward, if you hear what the senior counsel is saying. Because once they finish with Mkhwanazi, it means they may want to call the police commissioner. Unless if at the time we have Mkhwanazi, they will be busy with the police commissioner. I don't know what their arrangement is going to be. But if the consultations and the proceedings are not properly managed, we will have Mkhwanazi and work with him. After we are done, we will have another interval because they will say, no, we are now busy with so and so. But what is unfortunate is that all the witnesses are likely to find themselves in an unfortunate situation which is not of their own making. And we have to provide leadership here and say, we do not wish to have any South African court between us and the Commission. These witnesses are willing to appear before the Ad Hoc Committee in as much as they are also willing to appear before the Commission. And whatever decisions that we take must not make the lives of ordinary South Africans difficult. We are the leadership of this country, and we must show that we can represent their interest as ordinary citizens. They may not have the powers and authority that we have as Parliament or as the Commission, but our decisions must show that we recognize them as citizens, and we are willing to represent them to the best of our abilities. Thank you so much, Senior Counsel. I want to thank you for the additions. Honorable members, I think you got the report. I'm going to rotate you to hear your comments on the report. Are we ready? Let's start with the ANC.
We are ready.
Thank you so much.
We are ready, Chair.
Thank you so much. Let's start with the ANC.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon to all colleagues and the legal team and the team from Parliament and all of us who are in this meeting. I think, Chair, thank you very much for the feedback and the report that we've received. And I must say that I'm happy that there is a sense that we are interacting with the people that we need in order to ensure that our work begins without any avoidable delays. I want to reiterate the position we have taken in the past meetings, that it will be in the best interest of the Ad Hoc Committee and Parliament in general that we begin with Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi as the main witness before the Ad Hoc Committee. Because as we said before, it is through his testimony that the network is going to be clearer for us, or the direction that we need to take in terms of other potential witnesses more and above the ones that we've already identified on the basis that they are either occupying offices within the police department or have done so in the past. So I think it's going to be crucially important that, in my own view, we remain with that position. The second point is that I want to suggest, Chair, that you should have a discussion with the Commission of Inquiry to address exactly the point that you are saying is uncertain, to understand their plan and their sequence, so that we can avoid a situation where once we receive and engage with Mr. Mkhwanazi, we then have to wait for another week or day, whatever the case may be, in order to receive the second witness. My own view is that once we've received a presentation from Mkhwanazi, I want to suggest that we do not become steadfast about who exactly has to follow him. I know that in the course of our discussion, we have sort of gravitated towards, I think, saying it will be him, it will be the National Commissioner, and so forth and so forth. But I want to suggest that in order to ensure that our work is not in any way stalled by whatever the Commission of Inquiry is actually doing, once we have heard Mkhwanazi, let's invite any of the other witnesses who are available, rather than following any particular sequence. And I'm making this suggestion, Chairperson, more and above the earlier suggestion I have made, that which is to request you to engage with the chair of the Commission of Inquiry, so that you can have a sense of how they are intending to sequence the witnesses who are going to appear before the Commission of Inquiry. But my own view is that I think it should not be a problem for us, once we have heard Mkhwanazi, to decide that, okay, we can't get the commissioner, but we can get the minister or the acting minister. We simply proceed, or SBIA, whoever that becomes available. I would want to suggest that we should consider that approach as soon as we've received the main witness. Thanks.
So can I say to you that maybe towards our proceedings with Mkhwanazi, let's meet as a committee and decide if we want to review the order in which, remember, the committee has passed the terms of reference that it will always decide on the sequence in which the witnesses appear. Maybe the latter part of your suggestion will then have to wait for that time when we get closer and make that decision if we want to review the sequence. Does it make sense?
No, it perfectly does, Chair. Perfectly makes sense. I would make that proposal at that point. Thanks.
Thank you so much. May I please request, is the ANC done?
Unless if any of my colleagues want to make an addition, me, I'm done. I don't know, Kola and Thokozile.
Okay.
No, Chair, were covered by the chief.
Okay. May I please request the MKP to give a view?
Thank you, Chair. And good afternoon to all my colleagues here. Yeah, my concern now, Chair, was what I've heard from Linda when he said that former police Peggy Cele was supposed to appear on the 8th. I'm not sure whether he was the consultation is done or not done, because what the SC was saying is different from what Lindani was telling us earlier. That is expecting Cele to perhaps respond by today. But he said that he was supposed to have appeared on the 8th. Now I'm a bit, I don't know, maybe later you will explain exactly what does that mean.
No, just
Number
to
3.
All right, live visuals there from the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, where they are holding a meeting to give progress on the outstanding matters ahead of the commencement of hearings. Now, on the availability of witnesses, starting with General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, there seems to be some sort of a challenge with the obligations where he still needs to present himself and cooperate with the Commission of Inquiry, which is looking into the same matters of allegations of the infiltration of law enforcement agencies by criminal syndicates. You've heard there from the evidence leader firstly stating that they've been told by the evidence leaders of the Commission of Inquiry that they'll only get a copy of his statement, the statement by Mkhwanazi, just after, or at least on the morning of the 17th of September, when he's due to present himself to the Commission of Inquiry. So he will then not be available between from the 17th until the 22nd. So a lot of deliberations now currently there in that specific session as to whether Mkhwanazi should remain the first witness. Key to all of this, quite central, of course. So quite a lot of deliberations around his availability, and obviously just almost highlighting the challenge of running both these inquiries concurrently. But we're still monitoring those proceedings there. Our reporters also standing by. We'll take you back as soon as we can.